go so I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me. And I can't hold it much longer. Gonna let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh,
Let's run it. Foul territory live. Scotty Braun, Todd Frazier, A.J. Pierzynski. Let's dominate the day. Let's do this. I can't believe we're going to start off with another Reds topic. A.J.,
Yes.
how many times did you think we were going to talk about the Reds the entire season? I think we've talked about them more in the past month than I thought we would talk about them in a 12-month span based on how they were supposed to be as a ball club.
Well, they're in first place. They deserve to be talked about.
No doubt about it. I agree. And I'm just going to show the sign real quick for every
Oh,
from
shit.
AJ to see as well. Come on, man. I know he doesn't agree with it.
Go ahead, Todd.
But, hey, that's my guy, man. 3 for 6 yesterday. 2 runs scored, 1 RBI, 2 doubles, 1 home run. Putting up big numbers, boys, and he's coming around the corner. I know it's sample size, but at the same time, the excitement, the aura of it, he's coming around. The whole big problem we had yesterday with the whole knob thing. I mean, listen, the guy can play baseball. Will he sustain this all through his whole career? I don't know, but right now, I want that excitement, Scotty.
Yeah, I mean, he's exciting to watch. The problem is he's only played 26 games, and he'll be in the All-Star game maybe the next 10 years. But right now, you know, you're going to tell somebody that's been in his 5th year, never made the All-Star team, they're having a great first half. Oh, by the way, you got beat out by a kid with 26 games. I mean, there's a point where you got to earn your dues, and I'm all for excitement, but this ain't the time. Get him there next year. But right now, he hasn't been around long enough, and it sucks, but that's the way it should be.
Okay, well, just want to throw this in there guest-wise. Russ Dorsey's going to join us in about 5 minutes. We're going to talk to Dr. Brent Agin about a new partnership we've got running. We'll get into dip in baseball specifically. And then an hour and a half from now, Marlins closer A.J. Puck, who's been great for them. Actually a blown save last night, so I give him credit. He's coming on the show. The ball club picks up the walk-off win, so we'll get into that. But let's continue the Elly De La Cruz conversation on a different light right now with a little pop-off, because he was also the focus of some controversy last night. Pop-off is presented by CandyPop. Knobgate, is that a good thing to call it? Because I haven't seen bat checks on a knob, and he's got the technology that apparently you can't use during the game. He's just trying to track his swing. This is a new age ball player.
New age. So from what I remember, minor leaguers used to use this all the time. They put the knob on the bat. AJ, you might know more than me, like what they're trying to do. Are they trying to see velocity? Are they trying to see velocity? I don't know what they're trying to do with the knob, bat speed. I don't know. It would bother the heck out of me, to be honest with you, because I put my pinky, when I used to hit, my pinky was over the bottom of the knob on the bat. So then I'd have this rubber thing down there. I guess he's used to it. It's something, now it's a new age they got to do. Listen, they checked it, whatever it is. He hits the home run, taps the thing on the bottom, let him know it wasn't that. But for me, I don't know. I don't know exactly why it's there. I got to look into it a little more. But, it's that new age of baseball. They want to check for other things. And that's the only thing I could really think of. And he hit one, 470 yesterday? So as we see in this video, letting the ball go up, check it again. This baseball. So sometimes in baseball now, if somebody's going to call you out on things, just remember they're going to call you back out on other things. At the same token, it's a little cheesy. Don't get me wrong. The only thing I could think of there, if Joey Votto was to bring him next to him, but hey, man, we don't do that stuff, then I think it would be a little bit of a problem. But as Joey Votto said before, I'm hip now. I'm young, just like these young kids. He's got his hat backwards, and they're enjoying life over there. So I'm not going to change a thing.
Pierzynski, you hearing us? Oh,
yeah. So
AJ's going to come back. But first off, there's 2 layers here. If you were Elly and your bat's getting checked like that, are you pissed off? It's not like they were accusing him of a corked bat. They didn't like the
I'm more confused.
knob.
I wouldn't be pissed. Listen, I just started playing. They want to check my stuff already. I'm kind of like, you know what? Give me a little respect here. Maybe they think I'm hitting these balls this far. Like, hey, check everything. You want to check my batting gloves. You want to check my hat. You want to check this. But yeah, for him to tap the thing, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So, and you saw Martinez said the same thing. He said, listen, I wasn't happy about how he hit after he hit it, what he did. I wouldn't be happy either. He just hit one that far, and you did check the bat and was wondering what was on the knob. But the guy's taking the baseball world by storm right now.
First of all, it's called a blast, and the kids all use it, and it just gives you analytics on your swing, and it gives you your swing velocity, and it's not a big deal. It's a plastic thing, and it doesn't affect anything. It just is there. It weighs about nothing. All the kids, like I said, the Astros were the first team to use it. They kind of invented it. Carlos Correa was kind of the poster child for it. It doesn't do anything except it just gives you swing analytics as you swing. That's it.
Yeah, and I don't, maybe what do you think? Like as a manager, why would you do something like that? What would
He
you
didn't know
if you were a manager?
He didn't know what it was, and he just
Okay.
wanted to see what it was. He didn't know if it was legal or not. He just asked the umpires, and the easy thing to do was just take it off. He took it off, hit a home run, and it's not a big deal. I mean, good for Elly for hitting a home run. Good for him for, doing what he did. It brings, more people to watch the game. But like Dave Martinez said, he just didn't appreciate it because he wasn't questioning what he had. He was just questioning why it was on the bat, and he didn't know if it was legal. Other than that, Dave Martinez really didn't give a shit.
Well, there you have it.
Is he allowed to have the device on the bat during the game?
Apparently not. If the umpires made him take it off, I didn't think it was a big deal. But the umpires obviously they just didn't know either. I don't think, and I think they called into New York. If you watch the game, they called into New York at the time and to see, and I don't think anyone had an answer. So the safe play is just take it off.
Interesting, because when you swing, I guess you don't really. There's all analytics after you swing too as well. So it's like people already know the distance. They already know the bat speed. It's already put on the scoreboard. So I guess there's more analytics to the swing that I need to start reading up on, I guess.
So
I don't know what else they would want to look for. I mean, it's bat path, the angle, I guess. So other things.
Yeah, it's used. It's helpful, and like AJ said, a lot of the kids like it, right? Who's using it? High schoolers, college
High
kids?
schoolers, little leaguers, college kids use it. Minor leaguers use it. A lot of minor leaguers use it in their bats every day. That was a big thing. If you read the Winning Fixes Everything with the Astros, they were the first team to implement it, and they made their minor leaguers use it because they wanted their bat speed. It shows bat speed, bat angle. It shows I think it might even show exit velocity. I don't know if that works or not, but it shows bat speed, everything, exactly how they're swinging. It's a pretty cool tool if you know what you're doing with it.
No doubt. That's above my pay grade. I'm just looking at the swinger. Hey, man, your hands.
Yeah, but you were a simple dude. You were a simple guy with that stuff.
I got pretty lucky. I mean, I wish I had this stuff because then I can know exactly, maybe I was swinging too far underneath. Maybe my hands were getting away from my body, that kind of stuff. But I was a grip it and rip it guy. And, no, I don't know about you, but I never had any of this stuff growing up. It was just see the ball, hit the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, technology is all new. It's basically come in the last 5 or 6 years. So,
Crazy.
but I mean, some of the stuff they can do. I mean, you can watch this on your iPad. You can watch this on your phone. It's pretty awesome stuff they have now.
Gives really good feedback.
Okay, but is it motivation for him then that they're checking his bat?
I don't think it should be motivation. Like Dave Martinez said, he asked the umpires. The umpires made him take it off. It wasn't Dave Martinez asking him to take it off. He just said, "What is that?" I don't think Dave Martinez knew. And it doesn't do anything. It doesn't give you weight or change anything. It just gives you information.
Yeah, I think it's more of a bigger deal than people are thinking, or it's not as big of a deal because as a manager, you have the right to ask about anything, whether pine tar's too high in the bat, whether you want to check the pitcher's glove. So that's, I don't think it's as big of a deal, but I guess maybe it gave him a little motivation to do what he did afterwards. I mean, it is what it is. I just think, maybe it is getting blown out of proportion just a little bit.
Well, it's also who the player is.
Yeah.
Right now, anything that he's doing is going to get massive attention.
No doubt.
He's huge. He's been very successful. He's playing for an exciting ball club. So if you're checking a bat, and then exactly, he's got a Reds legend.
Oh, maybe he can hire you as PR guy.
I think I need to make a little extra money on the side.
But the other thing for Elly De La Cruz is, I mean, he is a showman already, right? So this situation occurs, and you can see also he's hitting bombs, 2 455-plus foot home runs this season, tied for fourth most by a rookie in a season since StatCast in 2015, and he's a month into his season. Wow. The thing for him is, okay, you check my bat, and AJ, you know, if there were a lot of young rookies would come into the league, and if a situation like this occurred, they'd hit their dinger and they'd round the bases. He plays to the narrative, which I can't emphasize enough is great for the sport nowadays. You need that shit. That is the organic, like WWE characterization flair that we need from our young ball players in a sport that has a ton of competition and needs to capture a young audience by showing off their true personality.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Times have changed. I wish I could have played it this time because you could have a lot more fun. You know, when you were a rookie before, you sat in the corner and you shut up and you didn't talk, and that was the way it was. If you did something cool, you just kind of tried to hide a smile, and everyone would not really give you much credit until you had some time. But this is a new age. Guys come in and they're ready to go, and good for them. I like it. I think it's great for the game. I think it's exciting, and I think it's moving in the right direction to bring fans back to baseball.
Do your thing, Elly. Okay.
Keep rocking.
Keep doing your thing, dude. And the homer and the win for them over the Nationals. I love it. So visit CandyPop.com and enter code FOULBALL for 20% off. Go grab it. What do we got on the desk today? Cookie? We got a little Oreo action?
Baby.
A little Oreo pop.
My wife dominates those Oreos.
Go give it a grab, okay? Hit it up online or find it in local stores. And let's hit our first poll question of the day. Scan the QR code on the screen, or you can hit watchstadium.com/foul territory. Your question, blank will make the strongest run for the playoffs. Who's going to make a big playoff push out of these 4 ball clubs? San Diego, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, San Francisco. Have fun with those 4 options, and we'll swing around with Charge the Mound coming up next on a San Diego Padres team that's finally playing good ball.
Today is July 6th, and we're taking a look back at some of the defining moments in the world of baseball that happened on this day. Our first stop is in the year 1956, when Commissioner Ford Frick introduces the Cy Young Award, dedicated to honoring one outstanding pitcher each year. From this year forward, the Baseball Writers Association would vote to decide the winner, with one pitcher being honored per year until 1967, when a pitcher from each league began to be selected. Moving forward to 1980, we witness Steve Carlton of the Phillies claiming the title of the all-time left-handed strikeout king. In a victory against the Cardinals, Carlton strikes out 7, pushing his career total to a staggering 2,836, surpassing the previous record of 2,832. Then, in 1986, an explosive display of power occurs as Bob Horner of the Braves becomes the 11th player to hit 4 home runs in a single game. Unfortunately, Horner's extraordinary performance is not enough to seal the victory, and the Braves fall to the Expos 11-8. Horner becomes the 2nd player to hit 4 home runs in a game and still end up on the losing side, joining Ed Delahanty. And finally, on this day in 1989, Mike Schmidt is elected to start at 3rd base for the National League in the All-Star Game, even though he had already retired on May 29th of that year. Schmidt, though grateful, chose not to participate in the Midsummer Classic and remained retired. That wraps up our trip through time for today, July 6th. Tune in tomorrow for more fascinating snapshots of baseball history.
And now back to Foul Territory.
Back on Stadium Foul Territory, Braun, Pierzynski, Toddfather, and Let's Charge the Damn Mounds. Sponsored by TeaZa. Oh, we got it all over the desk. You brought enough for everybody? Oops.
Now.
I'm messing up the merchandise. Wait, let me grab a... There we go. What did I get today? Cool Mint Chill. We'll talk more about this coming up. Little healthy dip action. It's not real dip. big topic in the sport. Toddfather was asking me all kinds of questions. I'm like, I don't know. Talk to the founder in
Can't
20
wait.
minutes. So let's get into the Padres, because we've certainly talked, AJ, about their downtimes. But, and you know, I'm a big Pods guy. I picked them to win the freaking World Series based on what I'm looking at on paper. It hasn't played out that way at all, but we're halfway through the season. And this is the team. We kept comparing them, the Mets, and the Cardinals. This is the team in my mind that has the best chance of turning things around. They've been taking it to the Angels. They beat them again yesterday, 5-3 your score. It's their first legit sweep, so more than 2 games of the entire season. This one was surprising to me too. First sweep they've pulled off at home in over a calendar year. Crazy. And they know what's at stake right now, and you can see that line on the bottom there from A.J. Caswell, who posted this tweet. Josh Hader had not pitched on 3 straight days with the ball club, which is almost a year now with the team, and he saved all 3 games. AJ, necessary. Like, it has to start now. You got to pick up some momentum heading into the break, because whether they go for a division or a wild card, they have a lot of games to make up. So this is a team that's going to need to like rattle off, a 8, 9, 10 game winning streak. I think they're certainly capable of doing it, and they're showing their talent on paper right now, playing out on the field.
Well, they beat a defeated Angels team last night, so let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. You lose Trout, Ohtani's down, Rendon's down. They're beat up right now. So the Angels, I mean, yeah, it's great for the Padres, but they're still way under 500. They're 41-46. They're 9 games out of the division with 3 teams ahead of them. The wild card, they're 6 games out of the third wild card with, again, 3 teams in front of them. So yeah, it's a long ways back for them. Do they have the players to do it? Absolutely. The problem is, are they out of time? And for me, again, we talked about this yesterday. Is their starting pitching good enough? Is their bullpen good enough other than Hader? Because Martinez came in, gave up a homer right away. They beat a struggling Angels team. They caught them at the right time. Now coming up here, they finish off the first half with the Mets. So that's kind of an important series for both teams. And we'll see who comes to play those last 3 games in San Diego.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly, though. Yeah, the competition they're playing, but ultimately you got to win these games, and that's what they're doing recently, is winning the games that they should be winning. Hader coming in 3 straight games. He hasn't done that in a long time, getting the save in all 3. Yeah, Manny Machado getting his, record-breaking 66th home run, passing El Titan. Big dog.
Yep.
God almighty.
Adrian Gonzalez.
I've been with him for a little while.
For the franchise
record. So good things are happening with them. It's exciting, even going to the break. I don't think they even want to go to the break the way they're doing right now. So, yeah, you said it. 6 games. It's a lot, but it's very doable. And, they're hoping for big things, and I'm hoping to see big things from them, man. They got a good little squad going on here, and they gave me that backdoor cover yesterday. Down, they were only up 4-3. I had a -1 in the hook, and they got a bases loaded walk.
Thank you, had him run line.
Yeah, Manny Machado got me a bases loaded walk.
Hell yeah.
Give me that 1.5. So keep going, boys. Hopefully they keep on rolling.
That's what we talked about. I remember yesterday I was like, hey, usually when they're winning ball games, they're winning big, right? There's lopsided scores now. It was a close one yesterday.
Not lucky, but
yeah,
luck is good too.
But do you buy this team though, AJ? Like I posted, and we're looking at most home runs at a single ballpark, but do you buy this team, AJ? At least more so, like we'll get into the Mets later. Do you buy them more than the Mets at making a playoff run here?
They're about equal for me. I think both teams have major holes. Both teams haven't lived up their potential. Both, it comes down to their starting pitching, and both starting pitching staffs for both teams has not been that great. Some of their hitters haven't performed. The thing for me is both teams are in a really hard division. The Diamondbacks are better than we thought. The Giants are better than we thought. The Dodgers actually are probably worse than everyone thought. So they're in a tough spot. And then if you look at the National League wild card, I mean, they're behind the Giants. They're behind the Brewers, who have an easier division they play against. Philly, Dodgers, and Miami. No one expected the Miami to be this good, but Miami's pretty good if you watch them play. And they find new ways to kind of win games, with the one that happened last night with the bad throw by Jordan Hicks. It's just a tough road when you start falling too far behind, because you got to start passing too many teams, and there's a lot of teams that have to pass. Can they do it? Sure, but they better start now, and it better kick in after the All-Star break for sure.
Exactly, and there is a lot of really good teams ahead of them. Philly's starting to come on track. They're tied for third in the wild card. So it's I'm happy because it's going to be an exciting finish. And that's what I think at the end. These guys that are 6.5, from the Mets to the Pirates to the Cubs, I mean, going all the way down that order, and they start playing each other more. Now it's going to get more exciting baseball, more, you got to win 2 out of 3, maybe get a sweep here. That's going to kickstart a team to gain 3 games against somebody. It's who's going to step up to the challenge? And you said it, whose pitching staff's going to come up big here because everybody can hit. It's a matter of finding ways for pitchers to come through. Mets need it big time too as well. So exciting second half coming up, especially in the National League.
Let's take you to American League then. So good Orioles-Yankees battle yesterday, and the Orioles beat up the Yanks bullpen. And the Orioles happen to have 2 of the best relievers in baseball too. That, in my mind, it's crazy, but I actually think the Orioles have not only a better bullpen, but more firepower for like your circle of trust. Anyway, the other part of this conversation is yet another debut. Colton Cowser debuts. Their number 2 prospect, number 14 overall in the sport, gets called up. I feel like it didn't get a lot of fanfare. I actually feel like there's fatigue now, national fatigue, AJ, around call-ups for Baltimore, and you could make a case for Cincinnati as well. But, Jordan Westburg gets called up. We had Grayson Rodriguez a call up for them a couple months ago. Like the names I'm rattling off are high end prospects. Of course, Adley last year, and there's 2 or 3 more in the past year that you can point out that are top 50 prospects in the sport. Here's another one. Nice, solid, clean rip for his first RBI knock as a major league ball player and contributes in the win. And it's not like they're calling him up too soon, too. He's 23 years old. He's ready to go. And that's why this team's so dangerous, because they keep calling up players. They're like making trades during the year by calling up guys that deserve to be in the big leagues that can be at least average, if not above average, in their rookie seasons.
No, that's great. It's great for the Orioles. The problem is they need to spend a little bit on the backside to kind of help these guys out. But these guys are calling up have been good. Gunnar Henderson got off to a little bit of a slow start last year. Rushman, we've all seen what he's done since he came up. He was kind of the start of the wave, right? Grayson Rodriguez got sent back as he struggled. There's going to be ups and downs with these young guys, but they think they can win with what they have. Now you look, I think every time they do this, they're trying to inject a little bit of life into them because the Orioles have struggled. I mean, honestly, they're what, 2-6 in their last 8 games if you count last night. So they were 1-6. So I think sometimes the Orioles organization tries to inject a young guy to get them hot again because they're not playing their best right before the All-Star break. But you bring up Westburg, you bring up Cowser, gets a big hit last night, drives in a run. It's just more energy for them in that dugout and in that clubhouse with these young guys, and they've all know each other. I'm sure they've all played together. And the Orioles, good for the Orioles. They keep churning out guys, and hopefully they all work out and become great players.
I was talking with Adam Frazier the other day when I was down there doing radio for the Reds, and I said, what's the difference? You played on a couple of different teams. He goes, everybody comes to the ballpark enthused, excited, can't wait to play, and it's a winning attitude. And I said, wow, I mean, you hear that all the time. He goes, Todd, I'm telling you, it's a different team. And he talked about it too. He just said, listen, nobody cares who's playing. Everybody just wants to contribute and have fun doing it. And like I said, that was a big one because the Yankees did pretty well against them this series. But to get to their bullpen, because the Yankees are the best bullpen in the league, and the domination that they've done in the bullpen for them, exciting for them. This is the best part about baseball because you got all these new names coming in and the excitement, and now the wheels are turning for all the teams. It's especially for the Orioles going in there, time to kick it up a notch though, because 2-6 not going to do it.
Are the Orioles better than the Yankees? And it's tough to ask you.
No,
but you don't think so?
Right now, yes.
The judgeless Yankees.
Judgeless Yankees, yes.
Yes.
I think they are. But when everybody's healthy and, both teams have the health going on too as well, Cedric Mullins just came back. I think the Yankees by far are better than them.
So by far?
By far.
Really?
Yes.
AJ, power rankings for the AL East?
Orioles are a better team right now. The Yankees have Judge, and they have no one else. They've proven that since Judge is on the IL. And if Judge can't play, and who knows when he's going to be back. I mean, he's talking about today he's going to be dealing with this toe problem for possibly years. So he might be back when? End of July, hopefully? Or they're going to be buried. You can get Judge back. But I think with the Orioles, what they have going on, the back end of their bullpen's been really good with Cano and Bautista. Their top-end starters have been better than we thought. and their lineup just brings energy 1 through 9. They're deeper than the Yankees, and for one major reason, they have more athleticism and they can do more things than just hit home runs.
Yeah, I agree. I said right now, 100%, they're better than them. But I think if we get health-wise, you got Rodon coming back and all that, just to name one person, I think that if he's 100% healthy and he's throwing the way he could, that's another starter for them that's going to help them and both them get to the playoffs.
Yeah, and I'm with you on the first part with Baltimore. AJ, is it's time. You're going to have to, even if you think you're a playoff ball club and you're in a good spot, you're going to have to show, forget your fans, how about your players, that you're invested in the team? Because they're barely spending money, and kudos to them. They tanked for 6 years to get to this point to pick up 1 billion top prospects, but they have a surplus of prospects. They can make a deal, especially a trade. You're already getting a guy where half his salary has been paid elsewhere. For me, they need to be some of the bigger spenders during the trade deadline, right? Pitching for sure. Starting pitching. I mean, and a bullpen arm everyone can always use, but sure. I'm looking at least a starter and a guy in my mind towards the top. Like any big name that we're about to talk about, I think they need to be involved in the conversation because they can keep up prospect wise. They can offer a package just as good as anyone else. And you never know when your window is going to be. Like they might say, oh, our best years, we're right now we're a playoff contender, but we're really a World Series contender starting next year. Yeah. Fuck that. You don't know that. You might, Adley Rutschman might get hurt next year, knock on wood, like shit like that. And then you're in a bad spot. So they have a chance to win a World Series if they pick up a couple big starters.
Yeah, possibly, but who are they going to get? And also, how much do they prize prospects? Because there's organizations that overvalue their prospects, never trade them, and some of them don't work out. Like I said, they already sent Grayson Rodriguez back to fine-tune his stuff. Would you trade Grayson Rodriguez for a starter for half a year? Would you trade any of these young guys they've called up, Cowser, Westberg, any of these guys to get – because teams are going to want value to give value. And then it goes back to what starters are out there. White Sox guys, Cease, Giolito, are those game changers? And will they cost too much? I'm trying to think who else would be a name. Scherzer, maybe. Verlander, probably not. Stroman, yeah. But again, how much are they willing to give up, and what's the asking price going to be? The Orioles are notorious for not making these trades, so you have to go back to history and say, well, they value their prospects so much they don't want to make these moves.
Shane Bieber?
I don't think Bieber's available as long as the Guardians are in it. I don't. Listen, the Guardians are 2 games behind the Twins. They like their chances. Bieber's the one veteran starter they really have on that team that's been good for them. So I talked to Terry Francona last week in the Guardians-Cubs game, and we asked him that direct question. He kind of gave us I certainly hope they don't make that move because that would send a bad message to everybody. But listen, the Guardians are really good at trading guys at the right time. They did it with Kluber. They did it with Clevenger. And they've gotten returns back that are top-notch. So I don't know. I don't think he'd be available, but he could be.
I'll give you one more name. It's just that it's tricky right now. Eduardo Rodriguez. He was off to a blazing start, missed some time with an injury, came back. Last night got shelled by Oakland, so that's never great. But it's one start. He just came back, gave up 5 runs, did strike out 7. He's got a 2.5 ERA on the year. He's pitched in the American League East before, so he's pitched for Boston. He's pitched well against the AL East in the past. The biggest problem for me is he has an opt-out in his contract. And the way he was pitching for the first couple months of the season, you're like, oh, he's a lock. He's going to opt out. Now, I mean, if he doesn't pitch well or if he gets hurt again, a team like Baltimore is not going to take the risk of a guy that could be paid out now for millions of dollars that might not pan out. Like it just doesn't seem like a risk that they would take because they're cheap as shit. Agree?
Yeah, they're super cheap. And listen, Rodriguez, yeah, that sounds great, but the Tigers need somebody too.
What do you mean the Tigers need somebody?
They need somebody to pitch. They need veteran guys. All their guys are hurt, and Rodriguez has been good for them early this year. So, I mean, if they get a haul back, yeah, but I just don't see the Tigers making that move. It's a bad match. Sometimes you have to, Scott, it's not always about like the guy. It's about sometimes the message to the fans. And the fans of Detroit are like, hey, we need somebody that's a veteran guy. We can't just keep in this rebuilding mode for the last 10 years that they've been in. They got to have somebody, and they went out and spent some money, and the Tigers fans were excited, and they haven't panned out. But I just don't know that the Tigers will do that again.
But he might leave anyway. So why would you get something for him?
Doesn't he have one more year?
No, so this is the second year of a 5-year, $77 million. He can opt out. His opt out's after this year. So he's either opting out or he's keeping that money and going on, which you really, I mean, it was a lock that he was going to opt out a month ago.
Is there a trade thing though? Is there a trade where
I don't think he has much in terms of rights with no trade. He might not have any. I definitely don't see a full no trade. So
some
I
guys
think
have like if they get traded, some guys if they get traded, they get like a extra year popped on or different things. Not necessarily a no trade clause. It's just a trade deterrent because it adds years and stuff to their contracts.
Yep. All right. We'll see. It's a name to watch. We'll see how he does the next few starts too. They want to see if he's back and healthy. Hey, visit TeaZaEnergy.com and use the discount code FOUL to receive 20% off your first order. And if you want to learn more about TeaZa, a healthy dip alternative, well, let's talk through it right now. Coming up on Foul Territory with Dr. Brent Agin, who created the product. And let's get it dip in baseball. Like, let's not hide that situation for years.
The Braves right now have the best record in the major leagues. They have surpassed the Rays in recent days. They are on this incredible run, 23-3 run right now, including 8 straight wins. The Marlins came into Atlanta over the weekend, all kind of excited to play the Braves because they've played so well this year, and the Braves hammered them. Just hammered them. 9-game lead over the Marlins, 12-game lead over the Phillies, and this is the shocker, an 18.5-game lead over the Mets. This is astonishing. And what they are doing, the way they are doing this, that also is astonishing. You might have noticed the Braves in the first inning. It's incredible. Now, this is not the media acting as the moral police. No. This is a situation where the players are effectively addressing the misconduct of one of their own. And make no mistake, it is misconduct. I know some fans are saying, Tatis used this cream, he was treating an injury, he didn't mean... No. In this day and age, with so much information available to the players, there is no excuse for testing positive. If you have a substance that is questionable, that you're not sure about, you send it to the league, you make sure it's okay, it's legal, you check it out. When you don't do that, it's on you. Simple as that. Why can't the players wear their own team's jerseys like they used to? What is wrong with that? That is cool. And if you want to sell more jerseys, fine. And I know some people will buy these all-star jerseys. That's great. And again, I'm not offended by these jerseys, at least the design of them, they're fine. But why not just put an all-star patch on a player's regular jersey? Sell it that way. A fan might be even more inclined to buy it.
Back on FT Live, Braun, Pierzynski, and Toddfather as we check out results on who you think is going to make the strongest playoff push out of the Phillies, Padres, Pirates, and Giants. Phillies leading the pack, Padres 2, and then Pirates and Giants are in a similar spot on the poll right now, which I think is not accurate. The Pirates are not making the playoffs. The Giants at least have a shot. Just throwing that out there. Anyway, let's hit up our next.
Throw it out there.
No, I mean, I have not been the biggest fan of the Pirates this year. I like the ball club. I like what they're building, but they have no chance of making the playoffs. And I've said that from day one. Anyway, second poll question of the day. You can see the QR code on your screen right now. Smash that. Otherwise, watch stadium.com/foul territory. Best baseball city to visit out of these 5 options. Ooh. San Diego, Miami, Chicago, and that could apply to Cubs or White Sox. We're just going city. And if you enjoy extracurricular activities, like you might enjoy Miami more, even though you're going to a ballpark that often
take everything in consideration.
Right, take everything into consideration. Seattle, and if you want to think right now, it's the All-Star city, and Atlanta. So think about it. Let us know. Anyway, let's bring in our next guest. Excited to be joined by Dr. Brent Agin, who is the founder of TeaZa, and we're excited to announce our partnership with TeaZa today. I got to make sure it's like Jenga back here that I take one that doesn't topple the rest. But Doctor, great to have you on. We appreciate the time, and we figured we'd kick off the partnership by actually getting information from you, straight from the source, from our guys, to be able to ask you how you came up with the product and your experience with TeaZa over the years.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's exciting. I'm glad we're having this partnership because it's exciting. I mean, you obviously know that, like you mentioned, that we got to stop sugarcoating what's being used in athletics, both from the evolving athlete to professional athletes. We know there is something to be said about oral stimulation and having something to satisfy your mouth. And so the product is such a great fit for a lot of different athletes, but just, even the outdoorsmen or just people trying to stay alert with a healthier option. And so, what's funny is that this product is actually an energy product. It was designed for energy. I got to admit that I did try to dip. I tried. I tried and failed. I'm glad I failed, but I did try when I was in high school, admittingly, and it was just not something I was able to do. Just couldn't stomach it. And but as I got along into through college and started actually practicing medicine, I realized that it was not as much the caffeine that could create an opportunity for energy and focus, is just really just having something in your mouth. And so that's why people snack, people drink sodas, people smoke, people chew tobacco. When your mouth is satisfied, it gives you a natural, innate focus ability. And so I was just driving, chewing on sunflower seeds. I tried pretty much everything to stay awake, but the sunflower seeds was the most successful thing for me. And that was just moving sunflower seeds throughout my mouth. But after a couple hours of really chafing your tongue and the inside of your mouth, you just realize there has to be something better. And so, really just took the idea of the pouch or a snooze pouch or, the School Bandit idea, and just said, let me start putting some healthy ingredients in these pouches and see what can happen. And 13 flavors later, and things are going great.
And I got some.
He's got them, opening them up.
It's like, how do you describe? I usually say it's almost like a little tea bag. It's very small. I just throw it in.
Yeah. I mean, that's.
Are you supposed?
Oh, go ahead.
Are you supposed to chew it or just let it just simmer in there?
Nope, just simmer. It's so it's the good thing about it is you don't have to spit, and that's kind of our motto, is why spit when you can swallow. Is it takes a lot of the unhealthy habits of where some of these people that chew tobacco actually swallow the tobacco spit instead of spitting it out, because it is unsightly, it's unhygienic, it's just really not a nice act of spitting into cups. People in college, I'm sure everybody that had roommates that chewed tobacco had accidentally drank one of your friends' spit cups, which is just absolutely insane. I did it, and that was the last time I lived with those guys. So you swallow it. It is just tea cut herbs, and we even have dentists that promote it because it doesn't cause indenting of the teeth line, doesn't cause any issues with discolorating the teeth. And you can actually enjoy the flavor. So we have just a bunch of herbs and a few B vitamins, and it makes it really convenient. So you can get on a plane, you can be in church, you can be at work, and no one really knows what you're doing, but it just gives you a nice natural focus.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that question. So you experimented and had friends try this out first, and you said you did it while they were driving, fishing, snowboarding, golfing, and at work, and got rave reviews. Like, what were the reviews they said, and what was the excitement from it all? Like, give us a little inkling about what they said.
The best thing is that I've made a lot of products, and I always, I'm out there always telling my friends, hey, try this, try that. The best thing about my friends trying this was like, oh, damn, this is really good. And they just kept wanting more. And that was when, because my friends don't sugarcoat anything. If they don't like it, they're going to tell me, or they just won't ask for it again. But yeah, these guys were raving over it. And this was just one flavor. I started with peppermint. And the peppermint with a little bit of habanero just gave just enough of the burn and the flavor that these guys are like, wow. I mean, they were going through a few of them a day. And once they started saying that they liked it like I did, that's when I went with, mass producing the first flavor, peppermint. But it wasn't about for another year that we started coming out with other flavors. But that was really it. These guys were like, they couldn't get enough of it. And that's when I knew that they were seeing the same thing I did.
How many flavors do you guys have?
We have 13 right now.
Now, let me ask you this. Is it all right? How many times can you use it the whole day? Is it okay to use, because guys, when they dip, they sometimes use a whole pack in a day. Like, can you use 4, 5, 6 in a day? Is that okay?
Yeah. So, when you look at how much caffeine is in an energy drink, there's somewhere up to 300 milligrams of caffeine now in some energy drinks. Starbucks coffee, 180 milligrams of caffeine in it. Our pouches have about 60 milligrams of caffeine, and our double strength ones, or our banging series, we have 2 of those, have about 120 milligrams of caffeine. But each pouch, when I get on an airplane, and if it's a 4-hour flight, I still have the same pouch in when I land 4 hours later. So yeah, you can use multiple pouches in a day. From a medical perspective, I like to tell people you should stay under 400 to 500 milligrams of caffeine in a day. That's as much as you should need. So I don't really condone people going through a couple tins a day. But with the amount of caffeine that's being consumed by Americans right now, I think you can feel safe to go through 4 or 5 pouches in a day without a problem. And it doesn't cause jitteriness. A lot of the energy you're getting from just having something in your mouth, just a simple oral satisfaction. And so that's kind of the neat, free, low caffeine approach to energy, which makes it, I think, a much better and healthier alternative to some of the highly sugar and highly caffeinated energy drinks.
How do you talk athletes, especially, into using something like this and getting off of tobacco dip? Because I start there, because then it trickles down, right? I mean, I know you didn't dip. I don't dip. AJ doesn't. But I've been around it my whole life with other athletes that are addicted. So if you start there, then they're going to set the example for the next generation. MLB's been stricter about it, but I mean, we've had plenty of guys that we've interviewed where we're like, he's got a big fat dip in his mouth right now.
Of course.
He's got a hog, as Patrick call it, in his mouth. So how do you do that? Like, messaging wise, obviously we can help the narrative there, but what's been the strategy?
Well, what we have found is that almost everybody that we talk to that does chew tobacco or drinks a lot of energy drinks, they know that they would change if there was some alternative they actually had faith in. As far as the athletes go, most of them have tried every alternative. These guys don't want to chew tobacco. They probably are getting lots of pressure from their kids and friends and family. They don't want to chew tobacco. And so what we found is that even like cowboys and some of these athletes that are like, hey, I've tried them all, there's nothing, I've tried it. They try our product and they're like, ooh, this isn't bad. And so even if they cut down 50% of their tobacco use, that's still a win. And so I don't think it's not a problem of convincing them that there's an opportunity. It's just having them try when they failed so many times to find a solution that would replace it. And we've had such a high success. I mean, like I said, we have 30-year-old cowboys that have dipped every day, and our success stories are so great because these guys have actually like, holy cow, this is finally something that I can actually tolerate. It gives me a good replacement. I don't have to spit. I get energy. And the flavor is so long lasting that it's really not hard other than convincing someone to put one in their mouth.
I just want to, before we let you jump, ask our guys, like, AJ, you never were even approached, like, as a kid when you were playing, teammates, any of that? No one was ever like, hey, like, you were never tempted, and also you never saw, I mean, obviously you saw teammates doing it, but I would figure you'd be someone like, if they were like, yo, do you dip? And be like, nah, that's stupid.
No, I don't like the smell of it. I've never had a dip, never had a cigarette, never had anything. So don't like the smell of it. Don't like the taste of it. Is that funny, Todd? Don't like any of that stuff. Never have. My mom smoked when I was a kid, and just never liked the smell, the taste, and I'm all for it. Anything, because I have friends that have major dipping problems, and I'm all for them being able to get off of it because it's awful for you. And anything that can help you keep your focus and be healthy, let's do it, Doc.
Yeah, and that brings up a great point. Is that our whole our whole campaign is to make dipping not the enemy. It's not bad to dip. The whole idea of having something in your mouth to satisfy oral cravings is important. And so that is our whole motto, is we're redefining what it means to dip. It's not, dipping is good. There's nothing wrong than putting something in your mouth. But when you can put something healthier and get the same satisfaction, that is really the goal of ours. And so just like you're saying, I mean, those people that never dip, never wanted to be around dip, don't like how it smells, don't like it tastes, they pop one of these in, but then they realize why people do dip. And you know, all they want is something in their mouth. And so it's a pretty simple solution, but yet I think the longevity, the flavor profile, and having a little bit of spice creates this opportunity for these guys to actually feel like they have a real replacement. You know, they actually get a little bit of the burn, and then the flavor just keeps on rolling. So I think that, you know, we have almost an 80%, 76% repurchase rate. So you can see when people try it, they buy it. And so that is where we see this opportunity, especially with the evolving athletes. All these kids, 575,000 kids approximately, try oral tobacco every year. And you know, this isn't a gateway, you know, to kids like trying our product and saying, oh, now I'm going to move on to tobacco. This is a solution for them because they satisfy everything without having something nasty that doesn't taste good. They're never even compelled to introduce themselves to this because they already found something that works and that's socially acceptable.
I love it. Doc, thank you so much. Appreciate the time. And we're
thank
excited
you.
to have the partnership running and spread the word and hopefully get some more people, especially in the baseball world, off of tobacco dip.
Yeah, and just remember, this is an energy product. You know, we kind of got thrown into the tobacco alternative because we are such a great tobacco alternative. But don't think that, you know, you had to previously chew tobacco to enjoy this product. You know, we have the athletic market, or, you know, just even gym rats are now starting to understand that, you know, pop one of these before they go to the gym. So it is really a nice energy solution too. So don't feel like you had to been hooked on tobacco to give this product a try.
Absolutely, Doc. Thank you so much. We appreciate the
You're
time,
welcome.
and we'll keep in
Thank
touch
you.
on this.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Visit TeaZaEnergy.com, hit the discount code button, and type in FOUL for 20% off your first order. Much more to go on FT Live, including a conversation with A.J. Puck, Marlins closer, soon. We have poll results, and we'll do our locks for tonight.
In case you missed it, here's some images from yesterday's action in Major League Baseball.
And now back to Foul Territory.
How we doing? Back on FT Live. Let's hit some poll results. First off, can I get an answer from you guys? Best baseball city to visit? Kind of random with the city selection here. San Diego, Miami, Chicago, Seattle, Atlanta. AJ, I might take Chicago out for you.
Well, Atlanta, the ballpark is unbelievable. If you haven't been to the Battery, go see it. San Diego, the way they fill it up and being in San Diego is pretty awesome. Seattle's too far. Miami's too close to home. So Atlanta or San Diego, if Chicago's not allowed, clearly.
Which one? Atlanta or San Diego, if you have to pick?
I'll take San Diego just because it's not in the southeast where I live. So San Diego. And they pack it in, and, it's nice to have great weather every day.
What do you got?
I go San Diego just for the weather alone.
Yep.
It is probably the best weather for most of part of the year. Every time you wake up, you go outside, you feel good because you know the weather's going to be great. It's a beautiful place. You got the water right there, got nice scenery, and you can go. There's nice places to go out there for sure, and it's a good place to bring the kids too as well.
I'll take San Diego also. Weather, I love the ballpark there, and right now it's a vibe too because even though they haven't been off to the best start, like they pack that place every night. It's an experience right now to go to a ball game in San Diego. Sometimes some guys though say like it's distracting because the dudes will get up early and they'll go to the beach for like
True.
kind of morning and half the afternoon.
They'll rent those scooters out and just take off.
My thing, my one other thing with that is like if you do go to the beach, AJ, I didn't play, but if you do go to the beach for like 4 hours before going to the ballpark and the sun hits you like that, doesn't that probably affect you a little bit by the time you show up to the ballpark? If you have a beach day, you're like a little extra tired, or is that just me?
No, it definitely probably affects you. That's why Miami, we used to always stay out and keep Biscayne. And guys, they would be like, hey, stay off the beach, stay out of the pools.
Yeah.
But listen, you're a grown man. You can do whatever you want. But San Diego is a beautiful place. You got Coronado there. A lot of guys go out and ride bikes over to Coronado, and you do it on the beach. There's just more to do in certain cities than other ones. But San Diego definitely at the top of the list for things to do.
Yeah, San Diego and Chicago, neck and neck. Chicago summers are awesome. I just didn't want to let AJ talk about it because he's biased on Chicago. Anyway, let's hit our locks.
You should see it today, Scott. It's picture perfect.
I'm sure it is. Are you staying on what's it called, North Shore?
No, downtown.
Downtown.
Yeah.
BetMGM Wednesday locks. AJ's game. Well, what you got void because you had the rain out.
Barrios got rained out. Bayo didn't get his. He only got 3 punchies, so I was.
I called it. I
Saved
said he was
by
going to
the
get 3 because they
Saved
both
by the
did
void,
it.
baby. Atlanta, obviously. They're not going to lose 2 in a row, and Soroka hit 4 Ks. Bang. A rare miss for Kratz lately, and you got your little hook towards the finish line.
They got 2 straight outs in the 8th inning, bottom 8.
Mm-hmm.
Then a walk single, walk, back to back. And I was like, because I wasn't watching. I turned it off because I was pissed. I was like, maybe they'll get a run in the bottom of the 8th.
You only needed 1 run.
Yeah, but still, it's like on my luck, I'm like, whatever. I look back, and you know when you look at a score on your phone, you cover your thumb on the San Diego side. I saw they were still at 3. I saw they won. I'm like, give me a 5, and boom, 5 came up. So little backdoor cover, better lucky than good sometimes.
Good patience, Manny.
Back in the green.
Back in the green, baby. 2 of us in 4 figs. Just saying. Follow the leader, which is any of us right now. Your BetMGM locks for Thursday. You want to kick it off? You're doing another run line?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cleveland here. They're playing the Royals. BB's pitching. He has been very good. His last start, he was pretty outstanding. If you want the truth, -1.5. It's simple. -110. I'm gonna go 330 to win 300. Hopefully, more runs are scored again.
Well, you guys picked the same game, and I watched most of Cubs Guardians from the weekend. And the broadcasters were okay, but they were talking about Bibee like he's the next big thing in Cleveland.
Yeah, Tanner Bibee has been really good. If you haven't seen him pitch, he got a ton of strike. He got 10 strikeouts on Saturday night when I did the game, and tonight I know the Royals don't strike out a lot, but I'm taking Bibee over 6.5 punches. I think he'll get 7 or 8 against the Royals. He throws a lot of high fastballs, and he gets a lot of swing and misses. And the weird thing is his spin rate or anything isn't very high. It's pretty normal, but his motion's deceptive. And he just throws that high fastball. He's got a pretty good little slider that backs it up and a little changeup. But over 6.5, I'm just going 100. It's plus 105, so 100 to win 105.
Okay. I'll lay down a hundo to win 130 on the, or excuse me, 130 to win 100 for the Orioles on a little money line action going up against the Yanks tonight. They're favored because Luis Severino, aside from one start, he had that one start where his velocity ticked up against Texas. The rest of them, he's been smashed. So he's been very vocal about it. Like, I got to figure this shit out. I just haven't seen it yet. Tons of hard contact. Not getting the swing and miss. Plus, I like Kyle Bradish. Mid-3s ERA, finds the zone. He's been altering his pitch mix to be more effective lately. That's the eye test that I think can go beyond what the computers are putting together for algorithms of what his projections are. I mean, he's using the slider more for strikeouts, for swing and miss, and then he kind of lessened his four-seam fastball lately to use the sinker more because the four-seamer was getting hit more than any other pitch. I love the adjustments.
You know what I find interesting on that, too? The Yankees are plus 1.5 and minus 155. So that's not very much. So that's where it's like, I feel like you might be onto something here. So usually minus 1.5 is like 175, 190, depending on who you're playing. But yeah, that's an interesting one there. I don't know what to really think about that.
You think
it's not that high, so it's confusing.
You think the Orioles should have been like minus what?
No, I feel like if the Yankees are plus 1.5, it should be like minus 200. You know what I mean?
But then you're banking on a close game, basically.
That's what I mean. So It's like I would put the Yankees at plus 1.5.
You like it? So you're gonna fade me?
I just on the run line there, especially.
Okay. We'll see. Orioles playing good ball. And Swing for the Fences is on, baby. Log into BetMGM Sportsbook on the app or the website, and you can play the game up until mid-September. You're a batter. You pick an area of the zone, single, double, triple, homer, pop out, and you get the prize associated with that type of hit. Prizing must be used on MLB and expires in 24 hours. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Be right back on Foul Territory's YouTube channel.
So I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's run it on Foul Territory's channel. Scotty Braun, Todd Frazier, A.J. Pierzynski, FT Live on a Thursday, and then also Travel City with some of our dudes because we're heading to Seattle. I go on Saturday. You're flying out tomorrow? Is that right, A.J.?
Yeah, I'm going I got to go tomorrow. Kratz and I are meeting out there, the All-American game for MLB, and we're coaching, and then I got to fly back to Tampa Friday night, and then to do the game on Saturday, Braves Rays, and then fly to Seattle back again on Sunday morning.
You say it so casually.
I mean, it is what it is. I got to do what I got to do, you know?
No, I appreciate the devotion. Do you know what you're getting yourself into with the high school All-American game? Do you know any of these kids? Have you come across any of them? Obviously, they're going to be picked a year from now if they're coming out of high school.
Yeah, I don't know any of them, honestly. I haven't seen a roster. I haven't seen anything. I'd like to see one because I I do know a lot of kids a year older than my son's going to be a junior, so he's a 25. So this class of 24, I know a lot of them from playing against them in high school and friends of my son that play in that group. So I'd like to see a list of them. But I'm sure they'll get that to me tonight or tomorrow. And then, I'm interested to see, because I haven't put on a baseball uniform in a while. And I have nothing. I have no like undershirts or anything. So I'm going to be not very dressed properly, I guess.
Do you have stuff, or are they hooking you up? I mean, you're coaching.
I was hoping they'd hook me up with something.
Are they going to?
They better.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see when I get out there tomorrow what they have for me.
Better have something in his locker set up nice.
Yeah, you better have all the merch set up.
If not, I'll just wear the uniform and whatever they give me, I'll wear.
Luke Voigt style? No undershirt?
No, why not? Works for him. Works for Jose Abreu.
I'm down. I'm good with that. Our coverage, by the way, and we'll post a lot more on our socials coming up, but Sunday we'll have draft coverage, and Monday and Tuesday we'll be live right around the ballpark. You'll see more information coming soon. And then also Tuesday night, we're going to do a little watch party where you can listen to us. On that one, it'll be myself, Kratz, Kipnis is heading out there, and then we'll have a number of creator guests focusing on certain teams. But expect to hear over those few days from draft picks, all-stars, former all-stars, the whole deal. Lots of draft coverage coming your way from Foul Territory, real talk coverage from the draft and from the all-star game and the Derby. So pay attention to that. Look out for more information there. Right now, though, we have a very unique problem because it involves the fine culinary delicacies that make New Jersey what it is. Let's run it. Can I start? Can I bring you the problem?
You bring it up and I'll finish.
Because the problem, we're mid-problem. It's being solved. This is part of the solution. But I'm going to take you back a few weeks ago, okay? I'm young Anthony Volpe. Grew up in a similar area. He grew up in Watchung, I think is where he lives,
North
right?
Jersey somewhere. I don't want to get it wrong.
Pretty sure it's Watchung. I know then he went to one of the private schools, but town next to me. So maybe 5-minute drive. All right, I'll be Volpe. I'll do my best impression. Toddfather. I'm a rook. I'm trying to be the next Jeter in pinstripes. I'm called up from the jump. Everyone was calling for me out of spring training to be there. I've had my ups and downs. All around, I steal bags. I'm playing solid D. Not swinging the bat as well as I'd like. I don't feel like I'm myself.
Yeah.
How do we fix this?
It's real simple. I'm going to have you come on. Actually, I'll come to your house.
Oh,
all right. I'm going to cook you up a nice dish. Some of our favorite foods in New Jersey that we make. Good Italian dinner. I'm going to make some chicken parm. We're going to go over your swings a little bit. I'm going to bring your buddies that you used to play with. Call them all up. They're coming over. We're going to talk about what you can do, what you haven't done. Here's my chicken parm. Take a bite of that real quick. Pretty good?
Yeah, I love it.
Not bad. Yeah. Does it change in your mind all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Does that bring up something about your swing a little bit?
It makes me want to kind of just tighten everything up, shorten everything, like maybe not have the whole pronounced leg kick going on right now.
Exactly.
I need to keep it simple right now.
Chicken parm does you good.
That is. New Jersey dish. I feel like this story comes up all the time too, AJ. Like the most common swing changes. I just simplified things. Some of the best stars in the game have always been that way. I mean, the longer, the more moving parts, and you can say it better than I can, the more problems.
Yeah, keep it simple, stupid. Don't think too much. Don't overcomplicate it. I mean, go back to what you did in high school. Go back to what he did to get him to this point. I think a lot of times young guys come up and they try to do too much. You know, you're the shortstop for the Yankees. It's a dream come true for Anthony Volpe, a guy I picked to win the Rookie of the Year. Sometimes everything gets sped up. You get moving too fast, and sometimes you don't even realize what the heck you're doing. And then you look back and you say, man, I'm not myself. So he just needs to be himself and go back to making things easy and simple and not too hard.
Yeah, his old teammate Austin Wells came to him and said, you know what, dude, your front foot needs to be turned. It's been going on. You're a little too wide open. You're pulling off. You're leaking a little bit in baseball terms. Your front hip is leaking out. And that's what's causing you to reach out on pitches, not hit those pitches that you can drive and go the opposite way. And lo and behold, he's 11 for his last 35.
Here's my big thing with baseball education for the hardcore fan and the casual fan. What you just said about the swing, that is for a fan that's probably between like a 6 or 7 to 10 in terms of how much they know about the sport.
Okay.
How do we get the fans that are between, say, 1 and 5? Chicken parm. So that's why I'm looking. Can we put up the pre-parm and post-parm numbers? That's the kind of shit that the casual fan eats up, pun intended. I mean, pre-parm, he's a $186. Yeah. He's got a 605 OPS. Post-parm, 354. The OPS north of 1,000. We'll see how long he carries it, but the swing change coupled with the special dinner to just kind of slow things down, take a breath for a second too as a rookie, right? Everything's coming at you fast. Rookie year, you're in New York, media's all over you.
Yep.
You're trying to just like do your thing, stay focused, and also you look up and it's like, holy shit, Judge and Stanton and everybody in the dugout with me.
Yeah. So for me, I bring up a story when I was playing. I think it was my second year with the Reds. And I went on this hot streak, and they came to me, and I don't know why I answered like this, like, how you been doing this? What have you been doing? I said, first thing that came to my mind is like, I've been eating a lot of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And this is a true story. Next thing you know, a week later, I got 4 boxes of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So I guess Kellogg's or whoever is the owner of the whole cinnamon scent boxes, I gave them all to a food bank. But, it's some of those things where if there's some, local restaurant that makes the best chicken parm, they need to get their name out there so they can get it out. So it's just funny. He says the chicken parm thing. He did go to Del Barton High School in New Jersey, in Morristown.
Which is a private school.
Yeah,
I
my
think
dad
he
grew up there too.
And there's 12 games since Austin Wells told him to adjust the stance. That's solid.
It's pretty crazy to think, like, what is your comfort in hitting? Like, when I tell kids, go back to comfort. Like, they ask me, what did you do? I said, I went back to feel-good videos. So I had videos of me hitting home runs, making diving plays, and just the videos I like to look at when I was struggling, like, oh, man, I know I could still do this, but to have a little reassurance of knowing, what I did, like, I could do this. I've been doing it my whole life. The struggles are only going to be temporary. Go back to what you're comfortable doing. And having friends over, he's a young kid. Having buddies over, having a little house party, something. Chicken parm, get them going.
Yeah, home with the fam. Cinnamon Toast Crunch came out of nowhere, or you just
Just
had it
out
that
of nowhere.
You just had it that one time, and then it became a phenomenon?
No, I think I was being silly. I wish I said something different, like, Ruth Chris Steakhouse or something. So anyway, I was young and naive.
Gift cards.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever it is.
Well, hey, Mr. Superstitious, did you have the same meal every day?
No, never. I never believed in that kind of stuff, food or anything like that. No, I never would. I mean, you go to the same places because you come comfortable, but I never had same meal, the same places. I mean, there was places you like and you like the way the food tastes, but other than that, no, I wasn't a big food superstition guy. I wasn't Wade Boggs who had that fried chicken before every game.
He had fried chicken, right? Before every single game?
I would love to get him on the show.
Yeah.
There are some stories about Wade Boggs. Oh, my God.
What if you're in a place where, like, they don't have good fried chicken?
They better find something.
Find one. How come Austin Wells doesn't get any love, though? We were talking about chicken parm. Maybe Austin Wells should be the hitting coach for the Yankees. It could get both.
He's in the tweet. I mean, he should be up at some point. What's the word? Is he coming up this year?
Nah, I don't think this year. No, I do not.
He's hitting the ball.
He's hitting well.
I haven't looked at his numbers in the last couple of weeks, but when I looked earlier, like a month ago.
No, the kid's a stud. I just think where they're at right now, I don't think they want to bring him along this late in the season to see, but if he keeps talking like this, man, he's with the gift of gab, he's going to get himself up there sooner than later.
Hell yeah. It's one of his friends. It makes sense to me. I'm all about
comfort, baby. Think about comfort.
Yep. All right, let's go in the weeds right now and hit the Atlanta Braves because it's the gift that keeps on giving. They finally lost a game yesterday to wipe away a losing skid. But, of course, they show up. They rep me for my lock. And it's the first inning damage that we actually covered. There it is. In the weeds, shall we? It's not hard to find the Atlanta Braves offense early on in games. You just talked about it yesterday, AJ. Acuna sets the tone in the first. This team is a force in the first, so much so that it's like they can almost kind of take their foot off the pedal the rest of the game sometimes. Like they did most of their damage in the opening inning yesterday. You're watching, I mean, I was watching that game, obviously. I was invested financially in that game. And I'm like, cool, game's over in the first freaking inning. Because number one, I'm like, they're probably going to score more. They're good on the run prevention side. Soroka was great, by the way. So it looks like he's figured some shit out. And then Cleveland obviously is not the juggernaut offensive ball club. So Sarah Lang's setting us up with Braves' first inning action here. 91 runs, most of any team in any inning. 29 homers in the first, 128 hits in the first. So not only are they the best first inning team, but the first inning production that they have is better than any team's any other inning.
They come out swinging. It starts with Acuna. We mentioned it yesterday. Acuna comes out and he can make it 1-0, and pitchers are afraid from the jump. And then you got Olsen, and then you got all these guys just lined up. It's like boom, boom, boom. Murphy and Riley and Rosario and d'Arnaud, if he's playing instead of Murphy. It is just like all bees. I mean, then you get down to Michael Harris, who's hitting ninth. It's an incredible lineup, what they've done and how they've been able to put this thing together and how it just works. But it starts with the guy at the top. It starts with Ronald Acuna Jr. because he puts the fear of God into pitchers the first pitch of the game on. And it's because he can make it 1-0. And if he doesn't hit a home run, he gets on base. I think I don't know exactly what his on base is. It's well over 400 in the first inning, though. So think about it. 2 out of 5 games, he's on first, chance to steal second, chance to steal third. That puts Olsen in advantage. It puts Murphy in advantage. It puts Riley at advantage. But Albies in an advantage. It is incredible what Ronald Acuna means to this team.
He's 414 on the season with his
That's
OBP.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. In the first inning, though, I think it's even higher.
It might be. I think at one point it was in the 5s. I don't know if it still is, but I mean, he's on base half the time to start a game.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's incredible. And then it just trickles down to everybody else. So it's about him. It's about the team. But at the end of the day, it's really about Ronald Acuna, because if you put, let's say, Ozzie Albies at the top or Michael Harris at the top, it changes the dynamic of their team. So he is very important to the first inning. And pitchers go out there. Trust me, as a catcher, I saw, man, you're scared to death if that first guy can go deep. Kyle Schwarber, he's not a typical leadoff guy, but the difference is Acuna can not only go deep, if he does get on first, guess what he can do? He can steal second, steal third, and it's 1-0 before you blink.
They are out homering Cleveland on the season. How much do you think the discrepancy is? Like how many homers? We're halfway through the season, okay? How many more homers do you think the Braves have than the Guardians? No, trivia question. Give me a guess. It's sizable.
I'll say 80.
AJ?
Well, they had more homers in June than the Guardians had on the whole year, so this is kind of cheating for me. But they have 80 is about right.
110. It's 166 to 56.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. They had 61 in June. They had 61 in June. The Guardians had 54 at the end of June total for the year. Most homers, I think, in a month and forever. So the Braves just mash. The best stat is, what is it, over 30% of the time they hit 3 homers in a game. Their just offense is crazy. And you play in that park? Huh.
Is there anything you can do against the Braves to open up a game to slow them down, aside from, I mean, you don't want to hit Ronald, which is
That's
the Marlins thing sometimes, and they'll pitch him inside. But can you do anything? Like if they're I would say like aggressive first inning, yes, but it's controlled aggression. Like they're taking walks. They're filling up the bases in the first. These are often 2-3 run homers in the first. So it's not like, oh, they're over aggressive in the first, get them to chase. Like what are you doing as a catcher to game plan against them if you're catching your 5th starter and you're taking on Atlanta?
You hope. You just hope he hits a ball at somebody. You hope he pops up. You hope. There's really nothing you can do. You have to pitch your game, but the problem is with Acuna, the first pitch you have to be so fine, and then that leads to walks, right? Or it leads them getting hit by pitches. So it's just you just hope. You just hope and pray. There again, because it's not just him. Yes, he's the guy, he's the spark plug. But I mean, then you get to Olsen, who can make it quick, and then you get to Riley, and then you get to d'Arnaud or Murphy, and then you get to Rosario. It's nonstop, and that's why the Braves have been so good for the last few years, is because their offense is deep. And in the first inning, gosh, if you get through the first inning, most pitchers are like, "Ooh, I can relax." Oh wait, look who's coming up 4, 5, 6 for these guys. It's crazy.
Hold on. I'm going to need more than that. Like I'm the 5th starter, okay, for the Cleveland Guardians. You're catching me, and the last combo we have, we went over the game plan already. Last combo we have before we take the field. Don't tell me Well, let's hope, because their lineup's really long and we're fucked, because I'm not feeling good heading to the mound. You got to give me more than that.
I mean, you just try to give them confidence. You just try to, but now you don't tell them that, but in your mind, you're like, man, how are we going to get through this lineup more than one time with this guy? And it's tough. There are times, trust me, as a catcher, where you're literally behind the plate going, please God, let this ball stay in the park when you let it go. But yeah, you just give them the most confidence you can. You say, all right, this pitch matches up really, your slider matches up really well. And, if you throw a sinker in, he can't really do anything with it. But in the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, but if he misses with that pitch by an inch or two, it's going out into the bleachers up there in Truist.
Some people are like, it's going to be hard to see any other team taking down the Braves. My only thing is just being around the game for a while and observing teams that get this freaking hot. First off, they're going to have a little bit of a cold streak at some point. They're not going to go, the rest of the season without losing 2 games in a row or something. But at the same time, I wonder, if they catch a hot team in the playoffs, and suddenly what does that look like? I mean, it happened last year, and I know it was different. Acuna wasn't the same. Strider wasn't the same. They lost that series to Philadelphia. But you look at some other teams, they have lineups, I mean, Philadelphia is one of them. Their lineup's pretty similar on paper to last year, even though it's not producing as well. Plus, you have Trey Turner, who has generally been off to a pretty slow start, but he can pick it up at any second. It's not like he lost it.
I don't see anybody. I asked this question numerous times to guys. Like, I don't see anybody in the National League beating them right now. Yeah, I mean, you think of it. I think of their catching core with Darnell Murphy. I think they got the best 1-2 catching core in the big leagues. I think they have a really good 9-hitter in Harris that could be a leadoff guy. Like, everybody knows their role in this lineup, and nobody's trying to do too much. Acuna, what's your role? Well, he could do every little thing he wants. Get on base, get the walk, hit the home run, hit the double, steal base. You got Olsen right there waiting for you to drive runs in. You got Darnell Murphy, same kind of deal. Harris, just get on base so the big guns can get back up and we can cause commotion. He's fast. So they have, from top to bottom, they have a really solid team. And they got some pitching coming again with Max Fried's coming again. So it's like, hold up, who else are they going to bring on? And if somebody gets hurt, they got somebody else coming in. So it just seems like they're the Houston Astros from back in the day. When people do get hurt, they got another guy that's just going to step in. And I don't think they're, as of right now, they're the team to take home the championship.
Before we hit the Mets big night from last night, which team is second best in the National League, which team matches up the best with the Atlanta Braves? If you're in the National League, forget the American League for a moment. Like, which team could prevent them? Obviously, we don't know what happens with injuries, but let's say we're at this point, we're at the end of the season. Which team has the best chance of upsetting the Braves in a playoff series in the National League? Anyone?
I would say the closest one maybe would be the Dodgers, just because they've been there before, and they can hit really well, and they got a really good hitting ball club. They've had a couple pitchers go down recently, but with Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, anything can really happen with that team hitting wise. But
JD's been great too.
I don't know.
I was talking to someone today. I was talking to someone this morning, and I was like, JD's been great.
Solid.
They were like, really?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, he's an all-star.
Quietly.
He's got 20 homers.
Yeah, quietly just doing his thing.
Yeah. Who's taking down Atlanta?
What about the team that took him down last year? Phillies. Dodgers don't have enough pitching for me. The Phillies are the one team that's not afraid of them. They've beaten them. They're not afraid of them. Nola, Wheeler, Ranger Suarez, if he's right. Taijuan Walker can give him some innings. If they have the back end of their bullpen lined up, and those guys are swinging the bat, they're the lineup that matches up best with them. The Dodgers, for me, don't have enough pitching, whether it's bullpen or starters with all their injuries. Marlins, I don't know if their offense is good enough. They have some pitching, but they just got whacked by them 3 games. You look at Arizona, they're not – I don't think they're deep enough to do it. The Giants, and their lineup's not going to score enough. Who else? The Mets, if they get in. Padres, maybe, but again, their pitching's not strong enough to match up with the Braves. The Phillies are the one team that could possibly do it if they get in, and that's because, 1, they're not afraid of them, and 2, their lineup matches up about as good, and especially in those small ballparks between Citizens Bank and Truist.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move to the hottest team in the month of July. I think there's like maybe 3 teams that are undefeated so far this month. The New York Mets, 4-0 in July. Can't freaking stop them right now. They're a force. I watched Kodai Senga dominate. Kodai was on his game, and he had issues with pitching on the road. That's fixed. Goes to Fork City, dudes were swinging at ghost forks that were bouncing a couple feet in front of the plate. I saw one on a Longo swing. I was like, oh shit. And so was he. He was great, but he had one bad pitch, and Christian Walker smashed it. It was right where he wants it. I think it was a cutter up. So it's 1-0, and the Mets are able to come back and tie it up down to their final strike. We actually had 2 games like that. The other one we'll get to later with the Cardinals and Marlins because A.J. Puck's going to join us. But props to Francisco Alvarez. Boom. Clutch gene. Rookie. Dude's got disgusting power. And I give him credit, Todd, because you're in a spot, and look at the enthusiasm, too. I think the bat's still in the air. And I love how he's turned into the dugout as he's going first to second. But he's in a spot where a lot of rookies probably overswing and try to pull that pitch. And he's like, screw it. I'm strong as shit. I'm going to go to right field with it. Hits a solo homer to tie the game. Mets eventually get another in that inning, a Marcana triple that scored, I believe, Brett Beatty, and they win it 2-1. They've had a couple good wins this year. For me, I'm like, you're down to your last swing, and your rookie, who's supposed to be the next big thing, hits a homer for you. That's the game of the year.
Can I just read the quote that he said here? Mm-hmm. I found this absolutely veteran type of word usage. Alvarez said, in that moment, the way that I think about it is, what's the worst that can happen? The worst can happen was we lose the game, pretty much. So at the end of the day, what I try to do is I try to go out there and compete, try to go battle, and really try to give the best of myself. You think about what this kid just said. Kid coming out here and the quote he had after the game, veteran type of stuff. He went up there, competed. He had all the confidence in the world. Kudos to this guy, man. He gets it a little bit, especially at this young age. A big moment for the Mets. Before the All-Star break, came up huge. You saw Joey Coors, they pumped the brakes. No, Joey, pump this guy up, man. This was phenomenal.
Is he doing that on the bases?
He's telling him to calm down. I just saw in the video.
Screw that.
Let him get his time. This was awesome. And the quote is something I would put on like a poster board for people to see, for young kids to watch. Don't let the moment get too big. Understand you're going to fail. Go out there and try and do your best of what you can do and not what anybody else thinks or what you're trying to do too much of. Enjoy the moment and go crush it, and good for this young man.
No, my thing also, AJ, is from that quote, I almost get a little bit of playing with house money vibes because the Mets were in such a bad spot. It's like, all right, screw it. Let's just go have fun now. There's been a lot of pressure on them because they haven't played well, and it's a team that spent a lot of money, and they're like drastically underperforming based on what everyone thought they were going to look like. Even if you didn't think they were going to like run through the league, that's fine. Plenty didn't, but you didn't think, no one thought they would be in this kind of spot. So now it's like, all right, let's just go out, have fun. They have talent, and even young talent like this. Like they've got some rookies that are up here that can do damage too.
He's arguably been their most dangerous, best hitter since he's come up, definitely for power. He's got a bunch of home runs. His average isn't great, but he's been really good behind the plate. Pitchers are talking about him. And if you look at Chase Field where they were playing last night, it looked like they were in Citi Field. As soon as he hit that home run, the whole first base line just lit up with Mets fans all the way around. So there's still enthusiasm behind the Mets. There's still people that believe in them. And, yeah, they've won 4 in a row, but they beat the Diamondbacks who were in first place. So that's big wins. Then they got another tough series coming up, and they go to San Diego. Can they keep the momentum? Can they keep this going? But Alvarez and these young guys have kind of done it. He's been the leader of this charge. And, yeah, I agree with Todd. Joey Cora, dude, don't pump the brakes. Pump this kid up, man. Let the kid have fun. Dude, let him enjoy the moment because the Mets haven't had a lot of these this year.
And David Robertson, too, doesn't get enough credit for that back end of the bullpen. He's been their best bullpen piece, too, as well. Came in, took a ball off the hip, ricocheted right to Pete Alonso from Corbin Carroll. I mean, it was a fun last inning to watch there. Mark Canha with the triple. I mean, that's what they need. These close games, they got to find ways to win them because you saw they were losing to teams they should have been beating earlier. Hopefully this is the upward trend for them.
2 weeks ago, that ball bounces off David Robertson and goes the other way through a hole, and the dude reaches, right?
And through a hole to triple.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sarah Lang's setting us up with the Wii chart. Love it.
Upward trend. Here
Love
it is.
Almost at the buzzer there. So what was the mark there? What was their lowest? The win probability.
Top of the ninth was the lowest, right? No.
Well,
actually,
down to your
no,
final strike, what's the number there? I can't see. It's too small. 80?
It had to be, way over 80. It had to be almost 99 or 95%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
Like
almost
it was
at 100.
97,
99 and change, yeah. Probably when you're down to your last strike, you're down a run. Yeah, he's been great. 15 homers this year for Alvarez. And he'll work more walks. He'll get on base, but big dub. I threw it out to the world last night. I was just like on Twitter, and actually should have put it on Threads since that thing's blowing up, the new social platform. But I was like, are the Mets and Padres about to go on heaters?
I would love to see it.
Or do we get fooled every few days?
Well, I would love to see it.
Yeah. Just throwing it out there.
They got to get hot. They better hurry.
Yeah, he's right.
Yes, I agree.
Now, that's why we said earlier, the Padres-Mets series is super interesting because both teams need to get hot, and they're playing each other right before the break.
All right, I want to move to the Derby. We got the whole bracket set up, so we talked through most of it, but the two since we were last on a show that were added, number one, Luis Robert, which I think that was an AJ pick. Did you set that up?
No, I'm surprised he's doing it. Surprised the White Sox are letting him do it, but I'm happy because that dude can hit bombs.
Because he gets hurt a lot?
Well, yeah, and he's been their best player by far this year, so they don't need him getting hurt. And everyone thinks it's going to mess up your swing, so you don't need to mess up his swing. But hopefully he goes in and dominates because he can hit balls crazy far.
And then Adolis Garcia also put on this list, which is great. There it is. Nice. He was the last announcement for the Derby. So you've got Luis Robert against Adley Rutschman. This is the first round matchups. Adolis Garcia and Randy Arozarena. Pete Alonso against Julio Rodriguez, which should be epic. Oof. That's the one I'm circling for round one. And then Mookie against Vladdy Jr. Do you think the White Sox would have a problem with him being in the Derby, though, for Robert? I mean,
no, I'm sure they're happy for him.
Use it.
No, they're happy for him, but most guys come out and say, I messed up my swing, or, I'm tired, or I got hurt, or whatever it is that people say after they do these home run derbies. But, for the White Sox, you really have had one guy that's been really good for you. It's been Luis Robert Jr., and you don't want him to mess up anything he's got going. You don't want to mess up it, kill his mojo. So I'm not saying the White Sox would do that. I'm just saying they're hoping he probably wished he would have just said, I'm just going to go play in the game because of past things that have happened to other guys.
It worked out well for Soto.
Yeah.
Remember Soto had the power down?
Yeah.
And then he was like, actually, it helped me. I got more lift out of the baseball. I kind of focused on my power there. I think it might help Vladdy Jr. this year, too, because he's been good. He hasn't been great for Toronto. I was doing a hit on a Toronto radio station this morning. And you're like, dude, you've got more power than that. Where the hell's the power? And a lot of times he's battled that over the years where it's like you got to hit more baseballs in the air. So Vladdy Jr. maybe heads into this thing with some swag and some at least success in this Derby. I could see him coming out of the Derby doing big things in the second half of the season. He's got 13 homers.
How many homers at home, though? Remember, he won a big stands where he didn't have one homer at home.
One or two tops at home. Oh, yeah. He just hit his first homer at home what, a week or two ago?
A week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And some of it a little bit can be attributed to the ballpark. Like they did a deep dive on the baseballs he's hitting there. That park has flipped, though. Since they messed around with the dimensions and they renovated it, the park, I think last year it was still an above average park for hitters. It's now more of a pitcher's park. Not an extreme pitcher's park, but more of a pitcher's park. And it affects a guy like Vladdy a little more than others. So I'm not blaming everything on that. And it's not like he's got, 4 homers. He's got 13. Yeah. He's on pace for 25-ish. But I could see him hitting 20-something pumps in the second half of the season.
Not many people get this bad boy right here.
Well, okay. So, how was your swing in the second half after you won the Derby?
My swing was good. I was exhausted.
You were?
I was tired, man.
Were you tired after the Derby, like going into your regular season games, where you still felt tired?
I still felt tired.
Really?
I don't know what just because it was that year in 15, I had to do everything. I was the ambassador. I was up at 6 a.m. doing interviews, shaking people's hands for 3 days straight. And, after I was done, I came home for 2 days, I think it was, got right back on it. And I was like, bro, I am still exhausted. Like I didn't catch up on sleep. We played at home the next day. I went in and I told Brian Price that I need a break. Can I get a day off on Sunday? Gave me the day off. I thought that would help and did. And my numbers went way down. But I wouldn't change it for the world. Home Run Derby was one of the best things ever. And you see Pete Alonso, he's doing it again. I think it's Pete against the world again, to be honest with you, just because he's been there so long. And I see Adolis Garcia as like one of those underdogs
Oh yeah.
that won't get tired and just keep crushing. His sweat dripping off him like Shaq in the playoffs, just crushing homers. So those two guys I'm going to be looking out for.
Let me ask you, during your Derby win for the second half, do you think it had more to do with them just asking you to do a billion things?
I think
the
that was
team,
part
the
of
league,
it.
and the city,
I think that was
or
part of it.
the
Yeah.
Derby itself? Because like you look, and there's always at least one or two of those guys. Like for me,
Yeah.
and you ended up fine, but like Ohtani was doing everything last year,
Yep.
even though it wasn't. I mean, it was kind of it was in LA. It was
Yeah.
close enough.
Of course.
This year, of course, Julio. So now he's actually going to be in the game. He's in the Derby. He's going to do a billion different things. So I could see him second half of the season. Maybe, I mean, at least in the first few days.
Maybe I was just out of shape.
Out of shape?
Maybe I
or
was
lack
just out
of
of
sleep?
shape. I think a little bit of both. I still trying to. Yeah, I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't believe that it's going to ruin your swing. Because think about it. The last round in BP for most people, you're trying to hit it to the fans out there in left and right field. And that's what I always try to do. I mean, playing with Jose Abreu, Johnny Gomes, just to name a couple guys, we're trying to go bridge. And if people don't know what that means, you're trying to hit it as far as you can in the stands. And then you walk off happy. Oh, yeah, no, I still got the home run swing. But that's what you usually do. And you got, they said Ichiro, not to change gears, can hit a home run on demand. Like he's one of those hitters.
But didn't.
I would love to see him in a home run derby.
Yeah.
Trying to get Mike Trout. We tried him last week. He said no.
I know.
Poor guy.
Trout's going to do one, though, he said. So, I mean, my guess is probably as long as he's healthy next year, because now he revealed what it takes to get him into the Derby. His kid.
Yeah,
if his kid says, Dad,
Yeah.
I want to see you in the Derby, he
I've
said
been texting
he's
his
going to have
wife
a hard time
every
saying
day.
no. You're saying set it up for next year?
Trying to get the wheels turning.
Yeah. Where's the All-Star game next year? Does anyone know?
Texas.
Texas?
It's in Arlington next year?
I think so.
Okay.
That's a monster park. It's not going to hold anybody, but it's a big park. You're going to have to muster them up out of there.
Yep.
We'll see. Who's going to bring this trophy home, man? Good luck. Pete might have 3.
Pete might have 3.
You guys forget Julio Rodriguez knocked Pete Alonso out last year, so a little grudge match. And Rosarena and Garcia are best friends, so that's going to be interesting to see how they handle that.
Oh, baby. I can't wait.
Is it which one do you want to see in the first round the most? Like which one? Because we'll be there, AJ. We'll be in like one of the suites hanging out. And what's the one where it's like, okay, I'm going outside to the seats. I got to make sure I watch this round. Is it the Julio versus Pete?
Yeah, and I also want to see how Adley does, and I want to see which side he hits from. If he hits left or right-handed, because in Seattle it does matter. I think which way he hits, but I think Pete versus Julio again. Julio at home. Pete knocked Pete out last year. That was a big upset. So Pete's going to want to get him this year. So I think they're going to both be bringing it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how Julio does in front of the spotlight and all that. And plus, he's had just an okay first half of the season. And Seattle's been a huge disappointment as a ball club.
True.
Huge disappointment so far this year. I expect them to be much more in the mix in the American League West. And I mean, you're looking at them going, they got a long road in the second half. They have the pitching in my mind to do it. But
I remember, not to switch gears back from Seattle, but the home run derby, you had to have like top 8, top 10 home run. Like you had to be the top guys in the home run. Now they're taking guys with 11 homers, 13 homers. Like,
who? Well, Vladdy, you're saying at 13?
Yeah, I think Rutschman doesn't have that many homers either. So I'm not saying they don't deserve to be there. I'm just saying, like usually, I remember when I played, I'm like, dude, I got to get top 5 or I'm not going to be in the home run derby. So, and then some people just don't go. And
a lot of guys say no.
But now they do. There's money incentive now too as well. So they kicked that in after I did 3 in a row. I'm like, oh wow, that's pretty cool.
$1 million
Guys are making $1 million, and I was making,
Did
whatever.
Did you get a paycheck for it? Did the
you
winner
did.
get?
Yeah, I think when I was there, it was it's not too shabby. The $100,000 is a lot.
Is that what it was?
The winner got 100. Second place got 50.
Yeah, Millie sounds better.
Oh, put another 0 on.
Yeah,
there.
hell yeah.
All good. And I think it's $2 million now.
Is it?
Yeah. Second place gets 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to look into
and
that.
you get a new chain too. Don't forget.
And you get it.
Oh, I saw the bling.
You get that bling bling.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they did it too. I think, remember, if you won too, you got like a car, one of 2 different cars, the MVP or something. I don't know.
Was that the Derby or the All-Star game?
Listen, I felt like I got screwed the whole way over. They did it the year after, and I'm looking at Tony Clark, and when he came in, I'm like, who? What happened to me, dude? Nothing. Crickets. What are you going to do?
Well, the league sets it up.
I got the trophy. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, you
We're
got the
good.
trophy. You got the legacy part of it, and you did it in front of the home crowd.
That
Yeah,
was cool.
I think, incentivizing the guys to do it is important because you're still gonna get no's.
Yeah.
Acuna said no.
It's tough. Like, are you 100%? Because I used to do this. I used to practice it with my brother before the season even started.
Really?
All the time. I'd be like, all right, well, this is a new format. I have a chance to do this. Let's do it. So we'd start the clock, boom, for 4 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. But I was more worried about him than I was worried about myself because I'm like, dude, the spotlight. He played minor league ball with the Marlins
Right.
for 6.5 years, made it to double A. But he wasn't afraid of the spotlight. I just wanted to make sure he was throwing strikes because you know how people are online. Oh, your brother stunk. That's why you lost. That's the last thing you want to hear or see. So it is what it is. We won. All good.
Yeah, you got it done. All right, we're ready for our next guest on FT Live. A.J. Puck, Marlins closer, joining us right now. A.J., great to have you on, man. What a night. I know, hey, we'll get right into it. I first off, I give you credit. You're coming on right after the quote blown save, but you guys got the dub and you've got 15 saves on the year. So what kind of roller coaster was that for you last night?
Yeah, the team picked me up last night. That was good to see. I was able to sleep a little better last night. So, it was fun to see. It's been a fun year so far, and I'll just keep plugging along.
Hey, question for you here, man. Skip Schumacher. Talk to me about, his presence as a new manager. I played with Skip with the Cincinnati Reds. He was a great leader. Talk about his attributes to the team and what his daily message is every day for you guys.
He's been great. From day one spring training, he's just sent the message, just go out there, just keep doing our thing, and everything that we want to accomplish this season, if we just stay the course, we'll get it done and accomplish it. And he's been great. I grew up a Cardinals fan too, so I knew quite a lot about him. So it's pretty cool playing for him.
Have you seen his son play yet?
I haven't. He's had him out here a couple times playing catch, but that's about it.
He's an absolute stud, man. You got to watch video on this young man. When he was like 10 or 11, you see him on the field dropping bombs over the infield, and it was just absolute monster out there. So when you do get a chance, check him out.
No, we will for sure.
No doubt.
AJ, first of all, go Gators. Obviously I'm a Florida fan. Have you given John Jay shit about going to Miami yet and been like, hey, Florida owns you ever since I was there?
No, I haven't. I haven't talked too much trash to him about Miami, but the Gators had a pretty good year this year. They fell short, but that was a cool little run to see them go on.
For sure, you need to tell John Jay. I tell him this every time I see him, and Skip will jump on his back too. He's not a player anymore. He just needs to take his ass out in the outfield and coach. Because every day in BP, he comes in, takes grounders. He's running around the outfield, out shagging his guys. Like, tell John, dude, you're retired. It's time to move on.
Yeah, he makes my job easier out there, though, shagging those balls for me, so I don't have to get as much. So I'm not complaining right now.
That's a good point. How did you end up? You're from South Dakota, right?
Iowa.
How the heck do you end up at Florida?
So I was just kind of those perfect game tournaments, because perfect game started in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and they got me on a Red Scout team to go play in that big tournament at Jupiter my junior year. And I just went down there, played, and they saw me, and it just kind of happened real quick, and that's how I ended up there.
Hey, question for you here: who would you say you mimic your game after? Is there a certain person that you tried, like when you were younger, you say, you know what, this is who I want to throw, be like? And my next question would be, what do you go about your daily? What does your daily routine consist of before you're going to go out there and throw?
So when I was younger, I was always loved watching CC Sabathia pitch or John Lester. Those are probably the two guys I grew up watching a lot, left-handed pitchers. And my routine's pretty simple right now. I still go out in the first inning and just hang out. I've never really hung back in the clubhouse. Just kind of get a little bored in there. So I just hang out in the game. Then I'll do move my body around the fifth inning, and then just do a couple of simple stretches, and then when my name's called in the ninth, get going.
What about Chris Sale? Lefty, you're slinging it,
Yeah.
hide the baseball.
Yeah, no, Chris Sale too. Yeah, no, I've watched him a ton too, and yeah, I mean all those guys. Because my arm slot in high school was kind of close to Chris Sale, and then college they raised me up, and then had some like arm issues, and I kind of 2 years ago I dropped back down to where my slot's at now, and everything's been feeling really good. So that's how that happened.
Hey, do you think you guys have a playoff run in you? Do you think this team is playoff capable coming after the break here? Because what I'm seeing, you guys are doing awesome. You got a great club. What's the clubhouse going? How's everybody? How's the motto in the clubhouse? Everybody excited?
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's an amazing atmosphere in the clubhouse. We definitely are looking to make a playoff run for sure, and every day we show up to the ballpark thinking we're going to win the game. So I mean, there's no games where like we always think we're in it. So I mean, it's going to be an exciting run for sure.
Who's the leader in that clubhouse?
I mean, we got a bunch of different guys. I mean, I'd say Rise. Rise he shows up every day, and he brings an energy. He's always loud, talking it up, and it's incredible what he's doing on the field. And he comes to the ballpark, chats up everybody, and makes sure everybody's in a good mood.
AJ, the one-run record, I know it's been asked a ton, especially in Miami by like the everyday reporters. It's at 21-5. Of course, you're a big part of that because the bullpen's closing out big dubs. What else have you seen late in games that has stood out that's made you guys so successful? Because one of my favorite things to give our guys shit for on this show is run differential. I don't really care about run differential because sometimes there's a game that'll mix in and it's like 18-2. And I'm like, cool, it counts as one game. I'm looking at one-run wins, which I've seen from, say, the Seattle Mariners. They've been like the prime example. They called it fun differential the last couple of years because they didn't have the best number on those marks, but you'd look at them in close games and they're winning close games, clutch hits, and their bullpen shutting it down late. So what's your story?
Yeah, I mean, I know last year they're kind of on the other end of it. And, they kind of, in spring training, they're talking about that a little bit. And this year, I mean, I don't know how many comeback wins we've had also. I mean, we're never out of the game. Like the hitters, they're always grinding out ABs and always giving us a chance. And I think we have 20-some come from behind wins too. So, I mean, it's just been great. Everything's just going our way right now. I'm just going to keep it going.
Take me through last night when you guys then walk off Jordan Hicks. Do you feel for a fellow closer like that when the baseball's in his hand? Some of our fans watching right now in the live chat are like, ask him about Hicks because tough throw, it ends up costing them the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, I fucked up the PFP the right to the inning before, so I mean, I definitely felt for him a little bit, but like I said, him doing that allowed me to sleep better last night, so so it worked out.
Do you feel different going up against the Cardinals? Because you said you were a Cardinals fan growing up.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's definitely cool. I mean, I still think my rookie year, my favorite at bat was when I faced Albert Pujols for the first time. I was growing up being a big fan, but playing the Cardinals is definitely cool, and happy we're taking it to him right now.
Did you get him to sign anything, or did you get grab a jersey or any of that, or you're like, rookie year, I can't say shit?
Yeah, I didn't do anything. I just got him to double play and just walked off the mound. That's about it.
That's why he blew the save yesterday because. Yeah. That's his favorite team, right?
Yeah, came right back though. Got him, baby.
Unbelievable. 28 years old, living in South Florida, man, or Miami, I should say. Yeah, South Florida. How's the nightlife out there? Are you chilling out? Are you trying to relax, or are you getting after it a little bit?
Yeah, no, I'm relaxing, but I got a girlfriend right now, so
she's sitting right next to you right now. Yeah, she's like, yo, you better say that, man.
Yeah, no, she's keeping me in line, so just focus on the game right now.
Do you feel like Miami's an advantage sometimes, the city itself, because it's distracting and
without a doubt, 100%.
You think so?
Oh
yeah.
My God.
Nightlife, one thing, and the other thing I was mentioning, we were talking about San Diego earlier, AJ, where there's a nightlife scene. It's not like Miami, but a lot of guys talk about getting out to the beach because it's like you get up and you're like, it's such a gorgeous day. I'm going to hit the beach for a few hours with friends or just relax. And then, guys are like a little more lethargic heading to the ballpark.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, Miami's a great city, especially coming from Oakland down to Miami is definitely a great switch up for me. And but no, I've been enjoying the city, been enjoying everything, and it's definitely a fun place to be.
How do you feel about what's gone down in Oakland? Because you were there. We've spoken to a lot of your former teammates too, right? Like AJ, who have we had? Chris Bassett. We've had Luzardo from your side. Some of those guys that are like, damn, there was a lot of talent there, and in a very quick period of time, they're all dispersed around the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I mean, it's kind of sad to see. Just, I mean, because I did enjoy my time over there and playing for them, and but just all the talent we had, and I mean, the majority of that team could still be together, and if they just paid some of the guys, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it would have been crazy to see what could have happened, but you know, it is what it is, and you know, I'm just happy to be where I'm at now.
Let me ask you this: pace of play. Are you a big guy? Do you mind what's going on right now? Do you love the speed up rule as a pitcher as well, knowing that you got, ample time to get your pitch and get going? I mean, you're not out there too long. You're saving games. So, were you a guy that was slower pitching, or were you always like, give me the ball, grip it, rip it, let's go?
I mean, I was a kind of like a grip and rip it guy to start, but I mean, there's definitely times where I wish I can just step off and just gather my thoughts instead of just rushing and just getting the pitch and go. But I mean, the game's changing. It is what it is, I guess. I guess you just got to adapt to it, and because I don't think it's going to go away. So just it is what it is, I guess.
Hey, it's been a lot of fun watching your team pitch. So, who's the best pitcher? Obviously, don't talk about yourself. Who's the best pitcher, stuff wise, on the Marlins right now?
Stuff. Well, I mean, Luzardo's got electric stuff. He's mid upper 90s with those 4 pitches, and then we got the young guy Yuri out there doing his thing. He's been amazing to watch, and I was saying that's talent, and you can't forget about Sandy. Sandy's got amazing stuff too, and he's coming along here. And just a little rough start, but it's going to be fun to watch him just go out there and dominate the second half. And even Braxton, our starters have been amazing for us, and I'm saying all the guys in the bullpen got nasty stuff too. It's been a good team, and I'm just excited to see where we can take it.
That was a very mayor-like answer. You like mixed in all of your pitchers. That's fine. That's fine.
Everybody,
You're like, someone give me the roster. Let me go down. All right, so here I'm gonna like specify it. If you could steal one pitch from one of your teammates, which one would you steal?
I mean, probably Tanner Scott slider. That thing's 90-93, and that thing moves about 10 inches horizontal, I guess. It's nasty. He throws it hard, and it's definitely a tough pitch for them hitters to hit.
Damn, man, that's.
Do you miss starting? Do you miss starting?
Do I miss starting? Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I mean, the A's told me in the offseason that I was going to have a chance to start for them this year. So the whole offseason, I was just training to be a starter. I got my conditioning up, slimmed down a little bit, and then I mean, it was definitely always been a goal of mine to start in the big leagues. But I'm not complaining about the role I'm in now. I definitely love closing, and I never minded the bullpen.
What's the difference in the adrenaline though between the 5 days? You get a start every 5th day, or you're out there in the Marlins bullpen. You're out there. Used to be the Cleveland, or I don't know what they call the bar out there anymore. They got the music going. It's the 9th inning. You come into your crazy entrance. Is the adrenaline different than the once every 5th day?
I mean, yeah, for sure, but I've been trying to just calm that down, and I feel like I don't get too much adrenaline anymore. It's just kind of when I try to feed off that energy, I feel like I spray the ball more. So I just try to be more relaxed and just go out there and just almost think it like it's like the 6th inning and not the 9th, just so I'm not too amped up and I get the ball in the zone better.
I see you, AJ, because I've watched you for years. And actually, I was trying to find a picture. I just ran out of time. I did this like feature story. I think it was 6 of them. I was with like AJ, Dane Dunning. Who were all the dudes that ended up getting picked? Was Pete on that team?
Yeah, Pete Alonso. Yeah, a bunch of guys. Pete Alonso. Oh, my draft year?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete Alonso, Dane Dunning. I mean, Shore, Buddy Reed.
Yep, they were both there. I think it was probably those 5 are with you. So, and Pete obviously was talking a lot in the interview. Buddy was definitely a talker too. point being, back to the adrenaline part of being in the closer spot. I feel like I see more emotion out of you right now in a good way. Like, I want to see from my closer, right? If I'm a Marlins fan, I want like a fist pump when I'm picking up a strikeout, or obviously when you pick up the save, right?
Yeah.
Give me a little something. Do you feel like you're more comfortable doing something like that? Because first off, you know your role in the game.
Yeah.
You're coming in usually, right? In the ninth inning, it's a save situation versus a pitcher. You're not necessarily doing that between every inning like a Stroman or somebody. But do you feel like you're able to kind of show a little more emotion the way that you would want to and not keep it in?
Oh, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's nothing like, closing out the game and just ending another team's chance of winning. And I mean, definitely, there's definitely more situations where if it's a big game and we really need it, and you definitely feel a lot more emotions out there. And but yeah, no, I'm enjoying it, and I'm excited to see where we turn out.
Do you feel like the ninth inning is the same as any other inning that you would pop in as a reliever, or it's different?
Yeah, I mean, no, it's definitely different, because in the back of the mind, it's you got no more chances after the ninth. But in my head, I just try to keep it, just go out there, just get 3 outs, and go home, and just try to simplify my mind and not try to make too much of it, and just go out there and make pitches.
I want to know about Yuri Perez, your teammate. He's 20 years old. He comes up, and he's basically been one of the best pitchers in baseball since he's been called up. Dude's 20 years old. What's he like? Are you guys looking at him in awe? Is he super talkative?
Yeah, he's definitely talkative. He's always got his headphones on though too. He's always focused too. But I know, being 20 years old, I can imagine me when I was 20. Just he's light years ahead of me. Maturity wise, and just what he can do with his body. Because I mean, he's a big guy too. He's 6'8", taller than me, and he just controls his body well. And it's amazing talent, and it's just really fun to watch him go out there pitch every 5 days.
AJ, I thought the tall dudes take longer to kind of figure it all out because the long levers, you got to get yourself down mechanically. The stories with like Randy Johnson taking forever to get himself corrected.
Yeah.
He used to throw the ball all over the place. Am I wrong there?
No, I mean, I struggle with the same thing too coming up. I just feel like it's taking me about this year and last year for my command to be really dialed in and know exactly what I want to do and where to throw it. And it's really impressive what he's doing. I mean, at 20 years old, come to the big leagues, he's so relaxed and composed out there. It just looks like he's out there just playing the game that he's done his whole life.
AJ, keep doing your thing, man. It's been fun to watch. Keep that run going for the Marlins. We appreciate the time, dude. Great talking to you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. AJ Puck, closer for the Miami Marlins. AJ Pierzynski, did you ever catch guys that were super tall that you were like, oh, this dude has no idea where it's going early on in his career, and then he figures it out?
Chris Sale was one of them. Chris Sale, the guy we mentioned for him, when he first came up, he was kind of a wild horse, and you tried to control him. Other than that, no, because I came up with the Twins, and we were big control guys with the Twins. There wasn't like wild goods throwing it all over the place. And when I got to the White Sox, we had a bunch of guys that came up, probably weren't ready, that threw it crazy. But in the Braves, we had a guy, Sean Newcomb, ended up getting some time. I remember he pitched one time. We just traded Andrelton Simmons for him, and he's throwing a bullpen. And they asked me to catch him, and I said, okay, spring training. And he didn't throw a ball I could catch the first 7. And they asked him what was wrong. He's like, I'm throwing to the big league catcher. And they go, well, if you make the big league team, you're going to have to be thrown to a big league catcher, so you better figure it out.
Yeah, Sean Newcomb had some talent. Damn. You're right, though, with the Twins, too. Your teams, like who's the poster boy? Those Twins teams, Brad Radke, right?
Radke, yeah.
Control guys. That was like their approach, right?
Santana.
Yeah.
Brad Radke, Joe Mays, remember him? Eric Milton. I mean, they had great stuff, but they weren't like power strikeout guys. They were like, let's get the ball on the ground. Let's be able to throw it down and away and let the defense catch the ball.
Did you ever have a guy that had a downward tilt to the ball when they pitched? Like, have you ever caught that? And is it harder to catch that, or is it not?
The only guy I could think of was like a Gavin Floyd. He was like 6'6" probably, and he kind of threw more up here than out here. He threw like the big curveball down. You just have to make sure you get underneath the ball. It was just a mindset. You're like, all right, I got to get underneath the ball. Because otherwise you would get beat down and pull balls out. So you're always trying to, as you see the guys now on one leg, one knee, they're fighting the ball up. You always want to fight the ball up towards the strike zone and not down out of it.
I don't think we ever talked about that either. How do you feel about the one knee thing? Are you for that, or is that just brand new? You're like, all right, well, this is something, I know. Did you do one knee like every once in a while? Did you do it a lot? No,
I never did it. I never did any of that stuff. The one knee, I understand it. I do. The thing about the one knee is when guys get like on third and it's the winning run and the balls get by guys because they can't block it, that's where it comes up. The question is it worth stealing a strike or two during the course of a game, or allowing an extra 90 feet or two every once in a while in the course of that same game? And that's kind of the fight. Listen, my son catches on one leg and I understand it, or on one knee. I understand why you do it. But at the same time, there are times where I think you need to go back to a traditional stance. Now, if you're JT Realmuto and you can be athletic enough to go back and forth, that's the way to do it.
Gotcha.
Hey, I'm looking at Eury Perez because he's 20 years old. So his career high for innings as a pro, 2021, 78 innings. He's at 47 and a third. I personally think we go too overboard with that shit anyway, because different body types, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Marlins mix in, more extra rest and stuff like that for him. But for me, I'm less concerned about the injuries, AJ. I'm more just like, if I am a playoff contender, I want to make sure Eury Perez is pitching well for me down the stretch, and he doesn't just boom, hit that wall in September because he's never pitched this much before.
Yeah, but that's on the organization. Why do you not let the guy pitch more than 70 innings in a year? I mean,
that's a great question. Well,
why do you not let him?
He's 20, so he hasn't pitched a ton. You're saying.
When I was in A-ball, we had guys that took the ball every fifth day and threw. Yeah. I mean, there was no like, oh, you're on innings limit. And now guys get hurt more than they ever did when they were not on innings limit. So
true.
The old school part of me is why are we teaching kids to have limits? Why are we not teaching these kids to break through the limits and see what you can do? Now, I understand if you have a history of being injured and you might say, all right, well, we want to limit you to keep it from happening again. But as far as I know, this kid's never been hurt. Why is he on such a strict limit? This kid's 6'8", throws the ball 100 miles an hour. And now you're going to go into a season like the Nationals did a few years ago with Strasburg and say, oh, we're shutting you down if we make the postseason. Well, that just sends a bad message to the organization. If for me, looking from the outside.
And to your point as well, it's like, you're not going to throw that hard in the 7th, 8th inning. Why not find a way to manipulate batters, maybe a little more control, maybe use a cutter more, maybe use your two-seam to slow down more, but with more movement. Like that's the game within the game. So if you're a 96 to 98 pitcher, at the end of the day, when you're in the 6th, 7th, 8th inning, you're probably 94, 95, and you might hump up if you're facing like a Barry Bonds or something. But that's the control you need to have, and that's what's going to make you a better pitcher, knowing that your 94 to 95 is not your 98, but you're better control. You got a little better movement. You're getting guys swinging and missing more. So that's the type of stuff I think they need to teach more in the minor leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Teach guys how to get through the third time through.
Yeah.
Instead of getting them out.
Yeah. No, it could be a problem for them down the stretch because he just hasn't pitched that much. He's young. He's only been in the pros for 2 years, but I know what you're saying. And I don't have the injury history. I don't think there was one, but I'd have to look back. But
wait and see.
Crack 100 innings, and now you're going to be in the big leagues cracking. He's probably on pace for even regular season. I would say 115 or more,
give or take.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's slap hands, baby.
Your face every time. You're proud knowing that you slapped hands with.
Well,
you're in the game.
As AJ knows, I didn't play, so that's my one moment.
True.
To experience what it was like to
win
a ball game. AJ, you got plans tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to see Drake in 21 Savage with my daughter and her friends. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know what I know some Drake music. I don't know what to expect at the concert, but my daughter is super pumped about it, and so are her friends. So, sometimes you got to play good dad and go and, enjoy the moment.
Wow.
What's your role? Like when you're there, are you going to dance? Do you sing along?
I'm sure he'll play some of the songs I know. I hope he does.
Yeah.
I think I looked at the set list. It's like 45 songs. So I don't think I know all 45 songs, but I know a few of them. And last few days I've been trying to cram in Drake on my headphones when I'm sitting at the volleyball tournament and try to, hopefully not look like a fool.
I've been nervous, Nelly, bro. I've been watching those kids, like making sure they're in the same group. I wouldn't want to lose one. I'd be going nuts.
Well, you're in seats, right? Are you seats?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're not on the floor?
No. That wasn't happening.
No, that
right,
can get reckless. Yeah, you lose. Yeah, it can get rowdy on the floor. Well, have fun. Good luck. You need more luck for that than Friday with the high school All-American game. Have fun with those guys too. Take some pictures and videos for us that we can show on Sunday.
Sure.
Please.
You got it.
Thank you very much. All right. We're back, you and me, tomorrow with Lorenzo Kane on Friday's show. I can't believe it's Friday already, and then I hit Seattle. So stay tuned on our socials for all the shit that we're doing in Seattle. It's going to be nuts. We'll see you on Friday.